Imagine, if you will, a single drop of water rising as vapor from the Pacific Ocean, condensing into clouds, colliding into the coastal mountains, falling as a snowflake onto the Kitimat Range, melting into a trickle, tumbling over waterfalls, meandering through valley bottoms. It joins the Skeena River, finally fanning out into a mighty estuary, retracing its way once again back to the ocean. This is the water cycle. This is an adventure. This is the Kitimat Range of the coastal mountains, located on British Columbia's west coast. Covering over 60,000 square kilometers, this majestic chain of peaks is the result of shifting plates colliding beneath the Earth's surface over 100 million years ago. Towering up to 13,000 feet above the sea, these mountains are responsible for the majority of precipitation in the Skeena River watershed. Nowhere else in Canada sees more rain than here. Parts of this region will experience up to 240 days of rain in a single year. High and low pressure zones drive the North Pacific air current into a consistent collision course with these mighty giants. These currents relentlessly drive masses of moist air into the mountains. With nowhere to go but up, the moist air mass rises and condenses. Clouds are formed. Plants and animals have adapted to this regional relationship between air, water, and rock. The mountain goat comfortably inhabits the most sphincter-puckering clefts imaginable. Safe from predators with an abundance of food and drink, this goat is quite at home in this unique, rugged geography. No other mammal is crazy enough to dare attempt this vertical existence. None except for one. The mountain climber. Species Homo sapien. It is said that Homo sapiens have a relatively larger, more developed brain than other animals, although we have seen little evidence of this. It's not known exactly why the climber takes to clinging for life to these rocks, as there is plenty of food and water for them back on flat ground. As they currently reside at the top of the food chain, there is no need to escape predation. Are they seeking new potential habitat? Have they lost their frisbee or their kite? Is it merely for thrills, a spiritual pilgrimage, or is it something more? We may never know what drives the climber to partake in such bizarre behaviors, but what we do know is this. Through the wild windows that hold the climber's gaze, while clinging to these jagged leviathans, our little drop of water soars overhead. Condensed now within a cloud, she has embarked on the first stage of her journey. Before long, she will change form and gently fall to the ground as a tiny, delicate, drifting snowflake. A west coastal air mass rises and condenses as it clashes with the Kitimat Range of the coastal mountains. This violent convergence, high in the alpine, resolves into snow, champagne powder, the silent hush of a muffled snowscape. A single flake drifting gently back towards Earth to find its place in the pack. The pack condenses and unifies as a reserve, a holding, a freshet to come. 68% of the world's fresh water is held in glaciers and ice caps, stuck in an interim state, frozen in time and space. Depending on latitude and elevation, some of the pack will be released. Some will remain in holding for centuries in a world unto itself. Deep in this quiet, calm, snowy environment, it would appear that no life could conceivably exist. A curious mammal secures a plank of wood to their feet and then glides atop the pack. The skier. Much like the hermit crab in its shell, the skier is most happy at home when fitted with this unique foreign appendage. A subspecies of the skier joins in the fun. The snowboarder. It is not known for sure why these creatures strap themselves to planks and charge this frozen landscape. The snowboarder executes a maneuver known as a method. It's hard to pinpoint why, but it seems radical. The flake's sojourn in this frozen environment will be cut short as the tilt of the Earth's rotational axis is creeping back towards the sun, and the return of spring is upon us. The flake is being held in trust, a pause on the cusp of a great transformation. Soon it will be but a tear, slip-sliding down great granite faces. As seasons change, frozen landscapes begin to breathe again. Ice melts to a trickle. Following the contours of the Earth's surface, propelled by gravity, our little drop of water is on the move again. It is spring freshet in the Kitimat Range. The snowpack is destabilized by increasing temperatures. Awakened by the warming atmosphere, an avalanche breaks free. Claiming everything in its path, it roars. The commotion subsides as it resettles at the bottom of the chute, but change has been set in motion. The sun takes hold, and snow melts to water. A river is born. This is the most youthful life stage of a river. Rugged, high-gradient flows pound their way downhill with reckless abandon. As temperatures continue to rise with the changing season, tumultuous torrents tear down the mountains that have held them in a frozen state of captivity for months. It is a wild stampede of water. A full-on water rumspringa. Too fast, too furious, and too steep. This youthful flow offers limited habitat to aquatic species. The force of these rivers during heavy flows is enough to move rocks the size of vehicles. Whitewater kayakers join the water rumspringa. They have situated themselves in tiny plastic vessels that seem much too small to safely navigate the torrent they float atop. Where are they going? And how will they return? What is their purpose? The human body is already comprised of 60% water. Is this not enough? As they join the thundering waters, perhaps they catch a glimpse of something greater. Or perhaps there is something wrong with their judgment. We may never know the motives of this extraordinary creature. However, we do know that our little drop of water is now part of a greater whole, and that this greater whole seems to provide these strange mammals with a great deal of joy. Like everything, with time, our drop of water will age. Now young and restless, soon her volatile teenage personality will calm as she meanders her way into adulthood. Spring has sprung in the waterways of the Kitimat Range. Our drop of water has matured into adulthood. This is the middle-aged life stage of a river, but there will be no midlife crisis on her account. Velocities have decreased. Gradients have leveled. Free, she smoothly meanders her way through valley bottoms, calm and peaceful, winding slowly through time. This life stage of a river is ideal for harboring life. Aquatic species, such as Pacific salmon fry, have emerged from their gravel redds, and after spending some time rearing in slower-moving channels, they are ready to embark on the next chapter of their lives. On their way out to sea, they are passed by similar silver creatures, moving in the opposite direction. A great river-bound migration ensues. Oolakin have entered the river system to spawn, a cultural treasure and food source for local First Nations peoples. Cutthroat and steelhead trout follow the Oolakin as spring spawners and are en route to their native rivers in search of love. Pursuing the steelhead is a mysterious outlandish creature. The catch-and-release fisherman is engaged in predatory-like behavior. He makes an attempt to trick the steelhead into biting sharp hooks that the human has secured tie-dyed bird feathers to. It certainly is a strange game of cat and mouse. Predation has never before been witnessed in this fashion. One often expects a predator to feast upon the capture of its prey. Such is not the case with this fisherman. Gripping the steelhead trout by the caudal peduncle, he poses with it for something called a photograph, taken with a device they call a smartphone. After adding a funky filter, they will later partake in the cultural phenomenon of uploading to social media. When they are satisfied with the harassment they have bestowed upon the steelhead, they release the creature once again back into the wild. The steelhead trout rejoins his river, bamboozled by this episode. Our little drop of water is now satisfying and supporting life in immeasurable proportions. Countless creatures are dependent on her now. She nurtures and nourishes life as she gently glides towards a new world of salty wonder. Two worlds collide as freshwater meets saltwater, the mighty estuary of the Skeena River. This is the oldest life stage of a river. Fanning out to its widest point, the river takes on a slow, mellow demeanor. Where the river meets the ocean, its jaws yawn open, inhaling and exhaling. The mean annual discharge at the mouth of the Skeena River is estimated at 39 trillion cubic meters per year, the equivalent of 3 times the volume of Lake Superior. An intertidal zone teeming with nutrients. Grizzly bear have traveled down from their dens in the mountains to feast on the nutrient-rich sedge grasses. Pushed by the tides and in exploration, saltwater mammals venture into the freshwater world. Seals and sea lions have come in search of food. River estuaries are among the most biodiverse areas on this planet. At times, it seems as though the estuary is more of a playground than anything else. Drawn by wind and water, a peculiar being joins the fun. The kiteboarder. This strange creature secures his feet to a board and his body to a large swath of fabric designed to capture the power of the wind. Like our drop, the kiteboarder too finds himself in different domains, dancing between the world of water and the world of air. Joined by another of his kind, they use wind and water to glide across the river's estuary. Are these the early evolutionary beginnings of a human fish bird? That certainly would be something. It is unclear why any animal would maniacally subject themselves to the mercy of wind and water at the same time. Oh well, to each their own. A goat will be a goat, a bear will be a bear, a fish, and a bird. A Homo sapien will be a climber, a skier, snowboarder, fisherman, kayaker, and kiteboarder. A river will be a river, and water will be water. C'est la vie. Soon our little drop of water will part ways with her past and take on new form under the guidance of the ocean's salty ways. There is no end to this story, only new beginnings, for in due time, our little drop of water, and many more just like it, will begin their journeys all over again. And the beat goes on.